Hello and welcome, I'm Jessica Shales, filming for Fluid Webworks, and today I'm talking about the best tools and techniques to use with Pinterest. We have done a video tutorial on Pinterest before, but it was really just an introduction for businesses wanting to start off, so if you are a beginner then it's worth going and having a look at that first. It's been a while since I've been using Pinterest in business, and I've been really impressed by the breadth of tools and techniques that have been introduced for Pinterest, so I'm ready to share the best of that with you now. There will also be links referenced in the post at the end, so if you want to have links to follow through and any notes, then make sure you do that at the end. So let's get started. So here we are, back at the account page for Everything for Redheads on Pinterest, and if you saw the original video you'll notice that I do have quite a few more boards than we had before. However, this isn't that many boards for Pinterest, people do have a lot more. It's been more of a case of sort of organic growth based on what I know people are interested in. I've always tried to make sure that the cover does represent what the board's about. This happens to be the new look of Pinterest, and I want to talk to you quickly about the tools and strategies that are on Pinterest itself before I move on to tools that are external to Pinterest. So you'll actually find that the pin it button is in a different place to where it was before. You can no longer go to sort of, there was a link around here. Instead you're going to need to go to a page like this, which I will provide a link to. It's called Goodies, and there are links to a few different tools including mobile apps, but if you scroll down you'll see here that there is a pin it button mentioned. This is actually an extension for Google Chrome, but if you want the traditional pin it button you can just click that and drag it and drop into your toolbar as before. Also mentioned at the bottom are boards and widgets and pin it buttons. These are tools that it's worth considering in order to cross-pollinate the traffic between your website and your social media presence on Pinterest. So I've opened another page here. We've got Pin It, a follow button, a profile widget and a board widget. The Pin It button should be on any page in your website where there's a picture that you're happy for somebody to pin. If you do have a website software like WordPress, then there are easy plugins that you can add that will automatically do this, and I'll provide a link as well that actually explain the tools that I use and I'm happy with. The follow button would want to go in your footer, maybe in your sidebar or somewhere on your website where people can click at any time. The profile widget is not really quite so helpful, but the board widget I found to be really helpful. If you're doing a blog post on a subject that you also have a board to back up, or you are happy to do a board to back up, then you just paste in the address for that board here. I did do a blog post on freckles a little while ago, and at the bottom I added the code for this freckles board on Pinterest. As you can see, once I press preview you get this lovely preview there, and then you've got the code that you can add directly into your website, or you can give it to your developer to do yourself. I do actually quite like the new look of Pinterest, and there are also links to analytics, which I'm not going to go to in depth, but they're very similar to the Google Analytics, very user friendly, and I think it's worth having a look as well yourself. So moving on to the first tool external to Pinterest, which is Pinstamatic. The great thing about this is it enables you to make things that weren't usually something that you could pin into a pin, and I'll demonstrate that immediately with the website, which is the first one. I've already put in Everything for Redheads and added a clicked preview, and this is what I've got. It can take a long time to actually load, so if it's taking a while then just press pin and you'll get an opportunity to preview it before you have to actually pin it. Once you are ready to pin, then you can select the board that you want. You can select whether to leave the reference to them or not. This will go automatically through to your website, so the link is automatically updated, and you probably also want to add some keywords in there referencing what you do. I would say makeup for redheads, hair care for redheads, or something like that. Make sure I mention redheads in there somewhere, and then I can go ahead and pin it. There is also an opportunity to add a quote here. I won't go through each one in detail, but there's a sticky note as well. There is Spotify, there's Twitter account, an event or date. You can add a place and also photos, where you can upload a photo and then add a caption to the bottom. So you can already see how an event you wouldn't usually be able to add that as a pin. Suddenly you're able to. The Twitter account, just to show you, and you can see suddenly I have a pinnable option where I just wouldn't have had before. Moving on, I'm going to go to Repinly. Repinly is a helpful dashboard that allows you to have columns based on whatever your interests are, and you can see what's most popular, what's trending and what's new on Pinterest. I've logged in as Fluid Web Works, and there were a couple of boards here, columns here, that weren't very useful at all, so I'm going to add some. Add column, and you've got these options at the moment. I've already got a profile widget, and I'm first going to start with popular. Now you can choose from all of the categories here. It's worth choosing the category that's most relevant. You can, if you've got more than one category, then you can add more than one, so you just add another one. I think the most useful one for me is actually education within Fluid Web Works, so that's what I would go to. And add column. Now automatically, if you look at this drop down, it's based on newly added, whereas what I'd like to know is actually what's most popular, so you want to sort it according to repins. So that's fine. And you can see really here, it's not incredibly relevant to me, it is really about education. So the next thing I would do is to add a column, and it would be based on a search. So I've already entered this in before, small business. I can add the column, and you can see that social media cheat sheet is right at the top. Now I'm going to change this again to be based on repins, but it hasn't actually changed. Okay. So to have a closer look at that pin, see what's going on, I can just click on it and you can see it's opened up. I can share that on Facebook or Twitter or even on Pinterest. And I can also go through to view the original pin, which will open in a new tab, or to view the original source. Now these two options compared to each other, if you view the original pin and then repin it, you're giving credit to the person who uploaded it in the first place. If you view the original pin and then pin it using your pin it button in the toolbar, then you look like you're the original pinner. The benefit of this, there isn't really one, except that with the original source you can use a scheduling tool, whereas on Pinterest itself you pretty much have to pin immediately. And if you spend like an hour or something on Pinterest, then that can be quite annoying for anyone who's following you, because you will clog up the feed with all of your pins. If you are using a scheduling tool, which is another subject in itself, and I don't have time to cover it this time, but I may come back to later on, then this view original source is worthwhile. I could also add another column, which would be social media. And so on and so forth. You may also find that, for example, on these first 3 posts are all social media cheat sheets in some way. And it actually would help me to decide not only what it's worth repinning, but also is it worth me producing something like this myself, if I will then get the credit that will link back to my website. It's a great source for thinking about what it's worth looking into for you. The next website is Pinwords. One of the easiest things to do to really get a kickstart to your social media profile, whether it's on Facebook or on Pinterest, is to share quotes. So I'd encourage anybody to go and get a load of quotes, just write down a load of quotes or sayings, or even make some up that are relevant to your audience and what you're interested in, whether it's about food or diet or exercise, whether you're working in business, then there are accessible quotes, so just write a load down. Then if you can find pictures that back them up, you will be able to put the two together, and suddenly you have a great, very, very linkable pin. You can upload the original pictures to your website and then pin them from there, and that means that any trackbacks do come back. It is possible to upload a picture directly to Pinterest and then just say that it has to go back to your website, but it's helpful to actually have it on a page as well. So this website enables you to do that either directly from your computer, or if you actually find a picture on the web that you want to then add some words to, then you can do that. So if you are not ready to do it immediately, then you can try the bookmarklet as before. You just drag it up here, but you can see I've already got one there. It's very easy to use, and there are a lot of different themes for writing. I'll actually show you, I'll demonstrate to you a way that I've used this before. we have products for redheads, and recently I got a great review on some of the subjects, so I used that to add, I think they're called tape actually is what it's called from Pinwords. I took the picture on the website, used the bookmarker directly, and I just added the quotes on here, repositioned them and directly pinned them, and I put the complete review there, and it's actually been repinned 9 times, it's got 3 likes, and that's within a couple of days, so it's actually really helpful. The next one is pin alerts, which enables you to see actually how much you are getting pinned, not just the pins that you upload, but also whether anybody else uses your pin it buttons from your website. You can select from here the websites that you're happy to show, that you want to get alerts from, and how often you want that. It's just a great useful little tool. The next one is PicMonkey. If you do not have an image editor on your computer, then or you're not very comfortable with it, then this is a very user-friendly image editor. You do have the option to either use the very basic settings, or there is a paid version as well, but to be honest, the paid version is quite advanced. It's something that once you're getting into the realms of needing the paid feature, you probably won't mind paying for them, because they're a bit more extensive. So you can add a photo by click to open, and you can upload, and then you can add anything over the top of that. So I'm just going to select this, which is the picture from this post if you don't already recognise it. You can see that that's loaded. I'll just select P on the edge, which is for text. You can select one of those and then add text, and then you can write anything in here. So Pinterest tools. You want to reposition it so that it works within the space that you have, and you might want to colour it in as well. You can use different fonts, and then when you're ready to go, you can just share directly, or you can save it to your computer, and that means that you can upload it to all your social media whenever you're ready. Okay. So that's it for the rundown on the best tools for Pinterest. There are so many more tools than this, but from my personal experience, these are the best ones to really give you a kickstart and get you on your way to using Pinterest as a business. Remember, if you want more tutorials like this, then subscribe to the channel on YouTube, or if you want step-by-step tutorials on email, then come over to Fluid Webworks, where we have a newsletter that takes you week by week through the process of building a really successful online presence that supports your business. Until next time, see you later.